Level 1, 400, attached to your name, one you didn't choose, don't fully understand, and were unaware was being calculated the entire time you were just trying to live. It started before you knew the rules. An unpaid installment. A credit card you opened at 19 because you were told it was free at a mall kiosk. A medical bill that was sent to collections without you even knowing it existed. Small things, invisible things, things that felt like life but were recorded as crimes. Your score is 400. You find out when you apply for a house. The landlord checks your credit history. Their expression doesn't change, but something in the room does. They say they'll get back to you, but they never do. You apply for a car loan. The lender returns from the back office with a different energy than when they left. They offer you a 24% interest rate. They say it as if it's a normal thing. You don't yet know that it isn't normal for everyone. It is only normal for you, only for this number. You try to get a credit card to fix your credit score. Your application is denied. 5 days later, you receive a letter containing a list of reasons in fine print. Too many late payments. Too many negative records, insufficient credit history. You read the list again. It feels like a lawsuit is being filed against you in a language you were never taught. The system did not explain the rules to you before it started keeping score. First rule, a 400 credit score is not a punishment. It is a starting point designed by the system to ensure you remain unaware of its existence until it is too late. Level 2, 500. Now you are following closely. Not perfectly, but steadily enough to make the number move. It took 14 months. A credit card you pay in full every month, like a ritual. An old collection account you settled for less than the balance. A phone bill you set to autopay because you refused to let a $47 fee pull you backward. 14 months for 100 points. The apartment you applied for doesn't reject you outright this time. They approve you conditionally. Double deposit. 2 months rent up front instead of 1. You pay it, you don't have the money, but you need the address, so you find a way. The car loan interest rate drops to 18%. You know 18% is still a bad rate. You take it anyway because you have no other choice yet, and you need a positive payment history more than a low interest rate. You are no longer in a crisis. But you are in a stage that feels worse than a crisis because you are doing everything right, and the reward is still small, slow, and invisible to everyone but you. The progress toward reaching 500 points is silent. It does not announce itself. It simply means that fewer of the doors that open in the same second end up closing. Second rule, 500 points is where discipline begins. Not because it's easy, but because you finally understand that the game isn't interested in your reasons, only your style of play. Level 3, 580, the fair zone. The threshold, the place where the system begins to consider you a maybe instead of a no. You got approved for your first unsecured credit card. The limit is $300. The interest rate is 22%. The card has an annual fee. Reading this, you feel a sensation somewhere between gratitude and insult. But you take it because you have now realized that credit is earned, not by what you deserve, but by the abilities you demonstrate. And $300 is enough to demonstrate something. You use it for gas. You pay the debt in full every month. You treat it not as a lifeline, but as a tool. The difference is vital. A double deposit is no longer required for your rental application, just 1 month's rent, like everyone else. You stand in the leasing office and sign the papers, and no one looks at you differently. And for a moment, you feel what normal people feel every time they do this. Nothing, just paperwork. That nothingness is the reward. You start reading, not motivation, not inspiration, the actual mechanics. You learn what utilization ratio means. You learn that carrying a balance does not help your credit score. You learn that most of the advice people give about credit is wrong, and those giving that advice don't even know they are wrong. You begin to learn the rules of the game when you are only halfway through. Third rule, 580, is the point where you stop being invisible to the system. You are not yet respected. You are merely being considered. Level 4, 620, the mortgage minimum. The number lenders look at when deciding whether or not you should be allowed to own something. You aren't buying a house yet, but the door is now open. Your car loan is being restructured. 18% drops to 11%. Same car, same loan balance. The number next to your name is different. You save $47 a month without earning a single penny more. The cost of money has decreased because your credit score has increased. You think about this for a moment. Your credit card limit increases without you asking. $300 becomes $900. You don't spend more. You spend the same amount. Because the limit rose and your spending habits didn't change, your utilization ratio drops. Your credit score notices this. A bank sends you a pre-approval letter for a personal loan. You don't need it, but you remember the days when you couldn't get credit. You hold the letter in your hand for a second before recycling it. Not because you're emotional, because it is proof that the system works. You apply for an apartment in a neighborhood you couldn't reach at the 500 mark. It's approved. Standard deposit. No conditions. The leasing agent smiles at you and asks when you want to move in, and you say the first of the month, and they write it down as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. And now you realize that it actually is obvious. For you. Finally, fourth rule, 620 is where access begins. Not comfort, not freedom, just the beginning of being let inside. Level 5, 670. There is a shift in the way lenders talk to you. The offers in your email inbox are no longer for secured cards and products aimed at those with poor credit. They start to be real cards. Rewards cards, cards with no annual fee, cards that send you points when you buy the same groceries you've always bought. You choose one, not the flashiest one, the one with the best structure for how you spend. You've learned enough to know the difference. Your credit score is now something you check out of curiosity, not fear. Once a month, sometimes less, this number is no longer a threat. It's a metric, a tool you finally understand. You apply for a car through a credit union. The interest rate is 7.4%. You remember 24%. You remember 18%. You are sitting in the same chair at the same desk. And a number you've built up over the years is silently earning you thousands of dollars you didn't have to work for. People your age talk about their credit scores just like they talk about the weather, casually, fluently, as if the rules were always obvious. You listen and say nothing because you remember when none of it was obvious. The times when the rules were invisible. The times when the penalty for not knowing them was paid in interest rates, deposits, and in back offices with people making decisions about your life based on a number you didn't even know existed. Fifth rule, 670 is the point where the system stops punishing you and starts selling to you. The difference feels like respect, but it isn't. It's just better marketing. Level 6, 720. You are now what the industry calls a prime borrower. This phrase carries a specific meaning. It signifies that lenders are now competing for you, not aggressively, subtly. This is the way institutions attract those they've decided are worth the risk. Your mortgage pre-approval arrives unexpectedly. Real numbers, real interest rates, 6.8%. The kind of interest rate your parents talk about missing. The kind of interest rate that makes a $300,000 house cost $180,000 less over 30 years compared to what it would cost at $400. You do that math slowly. The difference between a 400 credit score and a 720 credit score for a 30-year mortgage isn't just percentage points. It means a car, a college fund, a price you paid for a version of yourself that no longer exists. The bank doesn't see your past self. The bank sees 720 and accepts it as the only version of you that has ever existed. You open a second credit card for travel rewards. Your total available credit limit is $18,000. You owe $600. Your utilization is 3.3%. Your credit score notices this. A financial advisor at your bank calls you to schedule a review meeting. You remember the times when you couldn't reach a human being on the phone. Now, a human being calls you to set an appointment. The system is the same. Your position within the system has changed. Sixth rule, 720 is the point where the cost of your life silently decreases without a single dollar of change in your income. Level 7, 750, the very good range. The top 30%, the place most people are told to aim for, but few actually reach. You qualify for every product, every price, every tier. The difference between 750 and 800 is largely symbolic, for now. But for systems built on signals, symbols matter. Your insurance premiums drop. It's not because you filed fewer claims. It's because your credit score is used as a risk indicator in 47 states. And with a 750 score, you are statistically a safe person to insure. Your driving style hasn't changed. Your health hasn't changed. The number changed and the calculations changed with it. You refinance your mortgage. The interest rate drops by half a point. You save $31,000 over the life of the loan. You sign the papers in 20 minutes at a desk where everyone smiles at you, and the process is smooth, easy, and fast. You remember the 14 months, a secured credit card, a collection settlement, a $47 phone bill on autopay. You remember the double deposit apartment, the 24% interest car loan, the realtor whose smile changed without their expression moving. You remember everything, and no one looking at the number next to your name can see any of it. Seventh rule, 750 is the point where the past no longer costs you money. Every rate, every premium, every offer reflects a future the system has decided you deserve. The past is still yours. The system has simply stopped charging you for it. Level 8, 800, exceptional. This word appears on your credit report like a note you forgot you were being graded on. After the 800 mark, calls from lenders start to feel less like offers and more like flirting. A new bank offers to match your current mortgage rate and contribute $2,000 toward closing costs just to move your business. You tell your current bank. They match the offer and waive your credit card's annual fee. The institution that once charged you 24% interest for the privilege of borrowing money is now competing to keep you. A $50,000 line of credit for your business is approved. You didn't request it. You mentioned it to a banker who mentioned it to someone else. And 3 days later, the approval arrived. The interest rate made your accountant look twice. With an 800 score, credit is no longer something you build. It is something you have, stable and sustainable. The discipline that once required effort is now just a habit. And the habit that once required willpower is now just part of how you handle money. The score has stopped being the goal. It has become a reflection. 8th rule, 800 means you've stopped playing the credit game. You won, and winning means never having to think about it again. Level 9, 850, perfect. Not because you are flawless, but because the model has no more room to give you a higher score. That number sits at the ceiling and stays there. And the ceiling doesn't care about the distance you traveled to reach it. It doesn't know about the 400, the double deposits, the 24% interest rate, the fine print letter, and the list of reasons. It sees the pattern you followed, consistently, patiently, and without a single mistake. Something strange happens at 850. The number loses its importance, not because it's useless, because it has become a given, a baseline, a fixed point from which everything else is negotiated. Every lender already assumes yes. Every interest rate is already at the floor. Every door that was once a question mark is now open. Think about your 22-year-old self, the landlord who said they would get back to me with a 400-point grade sheet and a fine print letter. That person didn't lack discipline. They didn't lack intelligence. They didn't lack the ability to reach 850. They just didn't know the rules of a game that already had their name written on the board and was already being played. No one told them. The system never gives you information. It gives you a score first, then explains. And that explanation costs you years in interest rates, deposits, and the slowly accumulating price of not knowing, increasing until you finally understand. Somewhere right now, someone must be reading a rejection letter in fine print. They don't know about the 14-month period. They are unaware of the secured credit card, the $47 phone bill, and the patience that seems like nothing at first, but suddenly reaches 850. They think this is a story about credit. No, it isn't. This is a story about a number that is always being calculated. Before you understood it, before you consented to it, before you even knew the rules existed. The system doesn't explain the game. It just keeps score.